a little bit early or late today. Music on? Okay, we're good. Alrighty. So today we're going to be working on some space environment stuff. Yeah, I'm not sure if the blend factor is working. We need to test it. What we have here is we have the universe partitioned into 3 different textures. So the 4 textures that we're seeing here, right, are pretty much just affecting albedo and our illumination, and we're using one material, and the idea is that we're lazy loading in, you know, what'll eventually be like 2 to 4K textures. So we want to kind of blend the closest distances, right, of the different star systems. But it'll be, you know, default black, and then as we get close, you know, what we want is the environment settings. Kind of listening for a player, and as there is a player, it will feed in the player position, which will then calculate, you know, what the nearest star system is, and then that'll give us a texture to sample from. But right now we're not blending. Right now it's just kind of, it's acting weird, because what we're supposed to be seeing here see, like our blend factor isn't really where well, I know we're feeding. Let's go and clear the player real quick. Can I clear the player? Because there's a threshold here where we're just going one or the other. I'm not really blending. So maybe we just turn it off. Okay, so 0 will be green. So we should be fading from green to purple. Oh, okay, so the issue is we're aggressively switching the two that we're blending between. By the distance. Can we get a reference? Just want to grab a reference. Oh, it's already there. Okay, okay, yeah. Let's just export this. How's your day going, Bungalow? Yeah, the issue is if we're swapping out the materials based on distance, once the distance ordering changes and they flip, the blend factor would need to be adjusted. So you need to be lazy load them. Maybe there's no bleed over. Maybe there's actually no bleed over whatsoever. Yeah, maybe you can do it. Yeah, we don't care. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. We'll simplify it by not blending, because eventually we'll do like a three-way blend. But for now, what we'll do is we'll do like a distance fall off. So it'll always be the current closest star system blended to the default. Yeah, instead. Let me just see if we can get AI to quickly make that change. It's 250. I don't know how good PD1. No, it's an idiot. Does not do running. Okay, so our closest one is that one. But we're not close enough yet. Whoa, 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 it worked. Hang on. Oh, I gotta find it again. Maybe the radius needs to be a bit bigger. Alright, let's create a big debug square. So let's put a wireframe cube at 1000, 1000. And let's make it be huge. Let's say 25, 25. And maybe even 50 by 50. And we'll see if it works. Should be a big wireframe cube over there. Alright, so this key, oh my god, why is rejoin air broke? No, no, what breaks it? Oh, the menu breaks it. Oh, it's so cool. Cool. Let's put one on each cardinal. I don't know why there's no default rendering here. By default, there's some weird... Probably because there's no player. So now we should have 4 different textures for 4 different areas of space. And a dynamic skybox that changes depending on the... Yeah, so we need to fade the fade off to be a little bit more gradual. I don't know what, like, why it stops. Maybe the VJoy needs to pause and not stop, or it's not starting or something. I don't know what's up with it. Yeah, there's no errors. Hey, Oliver. Welcome, welcome. It has been a while. How's it going, Oliver? I've been in right now, crazy in the middle of kind of cleaning up some of the multiplayer code. And for those that are just tuning in, I'm working on a space game called Unforgiven Space. I've been working on it for a while now. And what I've been working on lately is cleaning up netcode. How's project going these days? I had to take a break. Work got kind of crazy. I do a lot of DevOps, like I work in like tax financing, whatever you want to call it. And we're just crazy busy at work right now. So what I've been doing, let me turn my music down a little bit. For us, it's like all like Azure ecosystem, trying to get things online, trying to. So what I've been working on lately is kind of organizing the way multiplayer works and feels. I've been using physics interpolation to try to fill in the gaps of all the physics that's happening and trying to make the game interpolate to a point that I can say bring like, you know, the FPS down to around probably like 30. And, you know, that means, you know, network tick rate's 30, everything slows down. We'll have a little, let me find my music here. It's a little bit too loud. Okay. All right. Okay. So, you know, for those that don't know, my game, you know, you are a kind of little space trucker, you know, in a first-person perspective, right? Your job is, you know, pew-pewing in multiplayer. You have a ship, kind of like Freelancer. Just think very light version of Star Citizen, focused mostly on just like the gameplay loops of cargo running, smuggling, salvage, and mining. So those are like the three little epics of this thing. And it plays in a very Sea of Thieves, meant for under 20 players maximum. Like you just grab a, you know, a bunch of 4 or 5 friends. All ships are designed to be around 2 players in operation, but you can take 2 more players along. And they're just medium-sized classification. The ship, there's large ships, but they're just for like background for trucking. And there's 7 different variations of ships. The first one is this medium size. And, you know, the idea here is all ships are fully modular. You can pull off all the components and reattach them, upgrade them. And, you know, ignore all the little, head out, fix the bucket. Yeah, thanks again, Baldur, for the stream. So, you know, I'm kind of like testing to see how well the netcode behaves if we really start decreasing frame rate of the physics server of Jolt. And you know, still have things kind of, it's really low gravity. So, you know, just does things interpolate well? Does all the animations work well now in multiplayer? Are they all, is everything kind of stable? You can see the gun. The gun IK, in spite of how smooth everything, is probably one of the only few things now that's kind of actually running at the frame rate that's the whole thing is simulated on. But as far as how the player perceives everything is pretty nice, solid. You know, projectiles are accurate. You know, the ability to kind of kill someone and have them respawn. It's all, you know, all fine and dandy. And the, you know, the core gameplay loop is of course doing cargo delivery missions, buying and selling cargo, and bringing it from point A to point B. So I've simplified a lot of this. So you can see if we go and, you know, spawn in some cargo, right? I can pay for cargo, buy 1 of each. It all spawns into the world, right? Anyone can grab them. They're fully authoritative. You know, we kind of pass authority around dynamically, right? So you can just kind of like, you know, buy cargo, take it, you know, put it in 0G. It's gone forever. No. Alright, so we have our 0G here. Oh, hey cargo box. Alright, so that's the idea, right? You do some cargo delivery missions, or, you know, we can do some either delivery missions, buy some cargo, pick it up drop it off. We can do some, you know, NPC missions. So we could do either ships or NPCs. So if I spawn a mission in, you can see there's an advanced NPC, and we can both, you know, they're all working here on the server. So they would spawn in at a random station. We'd have to go find them and incapacitate them and kind of bring them back. So if I aggro them, no, they got me. Right. Anyway, so I've killed them. I won, and I have my money. So we can check our. Currently in the middle of redoing these UIs, so the recalculations for where the mouse collides with them is a little bit better. So it's kind of broken right now. But right, so I'm just making some money. And the idea is, you know, we can just go, you know, jump into a ship together. Let me just spawn a ship mission to do. There we go. Here's a ship mission. So an enemy ship should be randomly spawned here. There it is. And I'll go in as a co-pilot. And I'll just let's go find our enemy ship here. Ignore the... Oh, no. Where is he? Why is he attacking me already? Go away. Yeah, the player bodies and stuff need to be anchored in place, and there's a few other things that I kind of need to get sorted, but all the station authority and everything's working. I don't know why the head is actually being... Oh, gravity. We're in 0G, it's fine. Right, now we can swap out all the weapons. You know, put on different ones, all the items can be swapped out. Anyway, those are the systems of the game. So what we're working on now is a shader. So we're working on the shader here under Universe. So what we need to do is lazy load in a bunch of what will be like 4K textures, and they're not really 4K textures right now. They're ones I made in a tool for the time being. And so what'll happen is when we load in, we just have a default kind of skybox. So we connect. If we jump in the ship this time, if you see those squares, each one of those squares represent the origin of a star system. So as we have a new sky shader, and as we approach, right, like these areas, we start slowly blending, right, into the actual, you know, sky map of the actual target station. And what's important though is that the shader, you know, all the albedo transmission, all that stuff is working perfect. So, you know, and we also need to be able to do the calculations because we're in a 64-bit precision world. You know, we had to make sure we do all these local, you know, like in code. We have to kind of determine, you know, what our closest star system is and what our distance is because it's in doubles, and then we have to turn that into an interpolation value between 0 and 1 to drive the shader, right? And then the shader lazy loads in, right, these materials based on, like, once we get, you know, close, whichever one is the closest, regardless of where we are, we will start kind of preloading it, and then as we get close, then we're that, you know, there it is, and here's our purple one. And as we fly over to like another location, all right, and the volumetrics will work the same way. Like we have some volumetric clouds we're going to use for nebulas, and we're going to data, you know, kind of like a three-dimensional star system noise that is loosely sampled, probably to like 100 meters. They kind of help drive some of the, you know, what'll eventually be the, you know, the spacescaping of the universe. But I wanted to get some of the skybox stuff working today. Trying to put together like a larger scale kind of test world with a lot different variations of the space stations to actually start testing out some of the economic things that we can buy and sell, and kind of get a feel for the progression of things. Right, this fall off is a lot quicker than I thought. It's supposed to be 250 meters, but I don't really think it is. And we have a lot more better material, you know, textures in this, but this is all we need for the time being. Shouldn't be disabled. don't think he's disabled. He must be. Oh, we need to unlock the player when they're killed. I forgot that we started. Okay, it's a few things we need to do. Yeah, I gotta figure why also this is now white when we haven't connected. And also, the first clone that we do is not accurate. Yeah, I think we can probably swap this out with the detailed one. We do have a better stars one. Has a little bit more scale to it. It's a bit too dark with the white on my screen right now. Okay, let's figure out why. Okay, that's probably because we don't have the default. Hey, how's it going, Yummy? So we are looking at making kind of a dynamic sky shader. So I made this sky box. GD shader. So we're using our eye direction for sky. And we're pretty much doing like a a circular set of UVs, and we're copying we're just building up our own panorama, pretty much, right? For a typical 2-to-1 skybox. So this material is being kind of like drives pretty much the background. So there's one default texture for space itself, and then color A is always the closest star system. So when we, I just want to get that default background though. Let me just do a fix here. Because it's white before we actually connect. Like when we don't have a player distance, it kind of doesn't know what to drive, so it becomes white. We need to make sure we that's not a problem. I think we can manually set. Hang on. Correct. That's exactly what we're doing. Yeah, I think I need to set it with code. I'm gonna load in a default. Just to see if it works real quick. I just want to get rid of that initial blend error. It's because it doesn't have a player position. Maybe we need to... Yeah, we should be using our new shader from default. Drive any material should be set. Fail back to default if no paths are provided. Maybe we'll always just feed in. Hang on. Nice. Last week I was messing around with some nebula shaders on Blender to cook some skyboxes. For hard to strike a nice balance. I was working on a compute shader actually for mine. I went with the mainly stars and not noise. Yeah, like I love the idea of being like able to artistically set them. We'll just always be at because we got 0 in them all. Blend factor, elevation, adjust the distance for A. We don't need to set B. B should always be set. I do plan to do nebulas with ray marching. Have you played around with Bonk's sky shader or cloud shader? It's called simple. Is it simple shaders or simple clouds? Sunshine clouds, you know. These. So this is Bankai's volumetric cloud shader, and I've been chatting with Bonk for a while now, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to adapt a very similar system, but for nebulas instead. Right, so instead of rain march clouds, so think of it like two layers of 3D noise. So you have a loosely sampled star system noise, which represents like a very lower sampled seed value, right, for the whole star system. Like if you want to, like, you know, cut out areas that you don't want to have a nebula, you know, you want to kind of craft, you know, where the nebula spawns, and then within those seed values will be another like layer, like another, you know, based on proximity, that'll take in the same positional data and be used to drive how the nebula looks, right, local to that position. So the idea is like we have space clouds, you know, which have depth to them, and you could fly through them, and you could even use the compute shader to sample. It would be useless for server side. Like I wouldn't be able to do anything on server side with it, but at least like on client authority or client side, you could, you know, hide away in a cloud or a nebula or something. I'm sure there's some gameplay ramifications that could happen, but it'd be hard to verify it when server's running headless. But still, like cool stuff, right? And you know, clouds and nebulas are how we perceive nebulas. Nebulas are usually way too big. They're not really anything. In reality, they're like the gases are so spread apart, you would never almost perceive yourself as being in one. But you know, the gamified version of a nebula, I think it's quite easy to do. I've been working on these for a while. So that's what I want to explore. That's my plan. Yeah, or the noise itself could be predetermined, like predeterministic noise that could still be sampled with CPU to determine whether, you know, like a certain area to a loose approximation is inside a nebula or not. I'm trying to avoid like runtime for nebulas. I feel like they're super heavy. If you look at even like Horizon Zero Dawn, like the cloud tech, like massive frame time. So it's like a trade-off, right? But you know, if your space is empty, what else are you spending frame time on? So it's kind of, I don't know, you know what I mean? Balance, right? Something I had we'll play around with when we kind of come to that road. I think, is our land 0 or 1 by default? Yeah, so now we're not getting our default. Let's see. I'm ready. We should just set default. Do we not have it here? Hang on, let's just clean this up. We are using default space shore. Okay. That should already be loaded. We should be able to set that. Is our blend values inverted? Let's see. Yeah, texture B is not getting set. Nothing should be, yeah, well, more. Oh, because I'm an idiot. Makes sense. Okay, so why still? I want to see if the our blending is backwards. So when we're here, fully blended, what's our actual value? Zero. And 1 is full. Or 0 is full, 1 is empty. Okay, so we're blending to 0. Yeah, they're a bit dark. Okay, it's 1. Two. So we gotta change the blending factor, but overall this is working. 3. I don't know why the VJoy like breaks when we get out of the seat. Okay, so that's fine. So we can probably not worry about these defaults. Because we could just we could just set the defaults anyway. We didn't worry about it. Yeah, we'll just set the defaults to be the same. A little bit dark, eh? Yeah, there's 50. 250 is the edge distance, and then we fade 50. We get fades free 50. We need it brighter though. Ambient light is from the sky. It's a little bit dark though. I mean, I'm seeing the contribution. I'm not seeing any energy difference. Take a look. I wonder because it's a custom shader. No, it should still be contributing. Let me just check in runtime mode. Weird. I'm not seeing that affecting remote. With the remote world environment, it's not being affected. Maybe because it's a sky material? No. Yeah, I just gotta up the sky material. Ambient light, sky. Just gotta blow it up a little bit more. Set the energy to 2. Sky contribution is 1. I don't see anything. Yeah, that should be it. No more my sky contribution is so weak. Like not updating anything in Inspector. I don't know. Start it. Now we're not getting anything. Yeah, now we're not getting texture A. Player is set. We didn't change the space environment. No. 1,000, 1,000. Yeah, let's just leave it alone and let us set it unready. It's not even blending. Oh, we're only taking one. I'm an idiot. I mean, we could take two and just grab the... We only need one. Right, the closest one right now is Sky 129934. Unless we get closer to another one. Closest one, Sky, okay, so that's the closest one. 303. Right, it's just keeping it the same. We're not blending. So we're saying that it's the closest one right now. It's spamming that it's the closest one right now. But in the Sky material, texture one is empty. Right, and there's nothing to blend into. I don't know. It's weird. Like, why is it literally saying that that is the correct one? Sky 12999, but it is not applying it. Right, their blend factor. Oh. Maybe we need a default. Oh, we'd have, we oh. I think I am too tired for coding. Making dumb mistakes. Mm-hmm. Like it's changing though. $88. Yeah, so it's doing its thing, not setting the shader. Right, 131, 303. Right, create a new sky. Create setter blending material. Setter default. Texture A and B. For the default. Texture A, texture B. Yeah, it's so dumb to me that it's literally telling me that it's good. It's finding the closest one but yet not setting it. On remote, boom. Remote, there it is. Here's the material. We still have the 2 here. It's like not setting the instance material. Right now it's just both. Maybe we do always need to. I need a green. Alright guys, it's 11 o'clock my time. I'm gonna get ready and raid someone. Yeah, I don't know why the defaults are being weird. It works fine, but yeah, it's probably the default blend factor that needs to be worn into the 0. Yeah, I don't know why like we're getting a missing. Like I just want to use both of them for the just two defaults until something is of closer distance, and then we lazy load it in. Anyway, I'm gonna end here on YouTube. I'm gonna go raid someone, and we'll be back tomorrow to keep working on it. Thanks again, Walliver, for the raid. Let me give a shout out. Walliver is amazing. If you guys aren't following Walliver, make sure to give him a follow.